There were so many highlights from doing ACE. The mentors are all incredibly helpful and are always open to different ideas. I learned so much more about the inner workings of architecture, as well as learning about the different components and steps that transform an idea into a reality. As for doing ACE virtually, it opened up the possibility to be able to attend every single meeting without worrying about the transportation. And it created such a unique experience in which we learned how to create all sorts of models online. Models of our ideas that we were able to digitally share with our whole group. Joining ACE was such a great decision, and it has been incredibly fun.
I would love to go into the field of architecture because I love its long history and all of the creativity that it involves. Although I've known this for quite some time now, ACE has definitely helped me develop some practical skills for the workplace, such as communication between multiple members of a group, and also the ability to sketch out what you have pictured in your mind so that other people can interpret it in the right way.
Hi, I'm Joyce. This is now my third year with ACE, and I first started ACE because of my interest in architecture, and I wanted to meet peers who had the same interests as mine in the building industry. As a result of ACE, I'm glad to say that my interest in architecture has not changed. In fact, I've learned through ACE that architecture is about building communities and about building for people. And all the projects I've done with ACE have supported this idea. The mentors at ACE have also been very supportive in helping me and other students figure out what we enjoy. And they've answered any questions that we've had, no matter how detailed or general. And they've also presented on projects that they've done, what the design process was like, and any challenges they encountered. This sort of teamwork, this problem solving, this designing, have all pushed me towards continuing architecture in the future and in studying architecture in college. And I'm very thankful for ACE in this way.
Hi, I'm Luke Ladiak. I'm a senior in the ACE program, and I'm going to be studying mechanical engineering when I go to college. Even though I want to work in the automotive industry when I grow up, I learned through ACE how engineers collaborate with others all the time. Whether it be with architects, construction managers, or even other engineers have strong communication and collaboration skills. And I feel ACE has prepared me to be a great engineer because they taught me how to communicate technical ideas and work together on large projects.
There were so many highlights from doing ACE. The mentors are all incredibly helpful and are always open to different ideas. I learned so much more about the inner workings of architecture, as well as learning about the different components and steps that transform an idea into a reality. As for doing ACE virtually, it opened up the possibility to be able to attend every single meeting without worrying about the transportation. And it created such a unique experience in which we learned how to create all sorts of models online. Models of our ideas that we were able to digitally share with our whole group. Joining ACE was such a great decision, and it has been incredibly fun.
go into the field of architecture because I love its long history and all of the creativity that it involves. Although I've known this for quite some time now, ACE has definitely helped me develop some practical skills for the workplace, such as communication between multiple members of a group, and also the ability to sketch out what you have pictured in your mind so that other people can interpret it in the right way.
Hi, I'm Joyce. This is now my third year with ACE, and I first started ACE because of my interest in architecture, and I wanted to meet peers who had the same interests as mine in the building industry. As a result of ACE, I'm glad to say that my interest in architecture has not changed. In fact, I've learned through ACE that architecture is about building communities and about building for people. And all the projects I've done with ACE have supported this idea. The mentors at ACE have also been very supportive in helping me and other students figure out what we enjoy. And they've answered any questions that we've had, no matter how detailed or general. And they've also presented on projects that they've done, what the design process was like, and any challenges they encountered. This sort of teamwork, this problem solving, this designing, have all pushed me towards continuing architecture in the future and in studying architecture in college. And I'm very thankful for ACE in this way.
Hi, I'm Luke Ladiak. I'm a senior in the ACE program, and I'm going to be studying mechanical engineering when I go to college. Even though I want to work in the automotive industry when I grow up, I learned through ACE how engineers collaborate with others all the time. Whether it be with architects, construction managers, or even other engineers have strong communication and collaboration skills. And I feel ACE has prepared me to be a great engineer because they taught me how to communicate technical ideas and work together on large projects.
Hello, welcome to the 2021 ACE End of the Year Showcase. My name is Hiba Bhatsi. I'm a mentor and architecture team lead from Valerio DeWalt Train, and I'll be your MC for tonight. I cannot wait to celebrate completing an entire year of virtual ACE. Congratulations, we did it. I'm gonna try to sum up this year in one word: Zoom. Mute. Mute all. Unmute. I'm sorry, we can't hear you. You're on mute. That was one word. Mom, shut the door. Wait, I wasn't on mute? That was all hyphenated. But what about this one word? Reimagine. This year, worlds collided, and we took the familiar and reimagined their functions. Bedrooms became classrooms and offices. Kitchen tables became workstations. Parents felt like supervisors, and siblings felt like classmates and colleagues. This year, we all invited you into our homes, and you made room for us in your homes. So thank you and your families so much for making ACE possible this year. This is the first year my family could see me mentor in action and understand why I love ACE so much. One day after ACE, my sister asked me, "Did you just spend the last 15 minutes nerding out about windowsills?" And I looked at her and I smiled and I said, "Yeah, we did." Tonight, we'll have a chance to hear from all of the players that make ACE possible, the students, the mentors, board members, and sponsors. And then not only will you get to see the students' incredible final projects, we will also announce scholarships. Are you excited? Because I am. So let's get started. I want to introduce you to Chris-Ann Rabine, the Executive Director of ACE Mentor Chicago. Chris-Ann went above and beyond this year to make this experience easier on our students and our mentors. She created a curriculum, checked in on us frequently, and sent us words of encouragement from her lime green wall at home. Take it away, Chris-Ann.
Thanks, Hiba. I'm so appreciative of you and all of your fellow mentors. You're awesome. Good evening. I'm Chris-Ann Rabine, the Executive Director of ACE Mentor Chicago. Wow, what a year we've just had. Last March, we had to abruptly shut down all of our in-person programs. Yet not for a minute did we think we were going to just stop and pause during COVID-19. We decided that we were so committed to this mission of making sure that high school students are exposed to exciting careers in the ACE industry that we pivoted and created a whole new set of programs. We formed committees, we planned, and we actually created some pretty cool stuff, including weekly virtual construction site tours and skill-building workshops such as model making, SketchUp, and hand sketching. We were only able to do this because we have amazing mentors. All of our mentors are volunteers. So they have a full day at work where they're sitting in front of their computer, and then they voluntarily and happily log on to run a 2-hour ACE session. Now, mentors, I know this wasn't easy for you. There were a lot of challenges that came with this year, but through the Zoom fatigue and so much time on our devices, you managed to do something pretty spectacular, and that's create a program for literally 300 teenagers in the Chicago region. We are so grateful for you. You put the mentor in ACE Mentor. You're all rock stars. And students, I know you're in a similar boat. You're on school all day on your computer, barely get a break, and then you log on for a virtual after-school program. And those of you who are used to doing ACE in person know that part of the fun of the program is coming downtown and having pizza and hanging out with your friends, and none of that could happen this year, yet you still did it. You're to be congratulated. You did something that puts you above your peers. You took this as an opportunity to do something that's going to help your future and expose you to a career. So well done. I hope that you write about this experience on your college applications. I hope you talk about it to future employers because this is something you should be proud of. Now, sophomores and juniors, I hope you come back and see us in ACE next year when we're live. That would be awesome. But seniors, you should stay in contact with us as well. We have a very robust program for alumni. We offer scholarships for students who are in ACE majors in college. We also offer internship placements when you're looking for work. And we have literally hundreds of companies that are dying to hire you once you graduate from college. Speaking of those companies, thank you to all of our sponsors for this program. We're really lucky that we have really strong leadership at ACE Mentor between our executive board and our associate board. They raise all the money that makes this program happen. Now you can imagine raising money was a little bit of a challenge this year. There are many companies who support us regularly who had some financial difficulties due to the impacts of COVID-19, and not everyone who supported us in the past was able to do so this year, and we completely understand that. Luckily, companies who were in a position to do so stepped up to the plate and were very generous. We did not skip a beat because of you. We're able to offer as many scholarships as we would in a normal year, and we're incredibly appreciative. So thank you to our sponsors and to our leadership. Now I have the delight to introduce David Brown. He is a professor of architecture at the University of Illinois at Chicago and the 2021 curator of the Chicago Architecture Biennial. For those of you who don't know, a biennial is like an international celebration of architecture and ideas, and it happens right here in our city. The biennial this year is based on David's work reimagining what can happen in vacant lots on the south and west sides of the city. Our ACE students used his work as a prompt for their design projects for this year, so we're very lucky to have him. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Chrisanne, and congratulations to all the ACE students.
Can you tell us a little bit about this year's biennial and what we might expect?
Sure. So it will be perhaps very similar to what the students have been working on. It is focused on the 10,000 plus city-owned vacant lots of the city, and they are principally on the south and west sides. And so we'll incorporate the construction and of a set of spaces that are in some of those neighborhoods. And those will be done by different designers from some within the city, but other parts of the U.S. and the world. And they are doing that in collaboration with community organizations that are in each of those neighborhoods. There will also be kinds of activities in those spaces as well as other vacant lots. And then a second component would be a small exhibit of material that will include design ideas for spaces.
So how did you get interested in this work? What is the need that you see?
It is an idea about how one could in fact reimagine neighborhoods in response to neighborhood ideas and address types of interest and needs that are within those communities.
We might not go downtown every day or even once a year, but we're in our neighborhoods all the time.
Right.
And every neighborhood deserves to have things that they're proud of and places that they feel like they can go and they can hang out and they can congregate. So this is really exciting work, and I'm excited that our students had the chance to really think about this design project this year. What do you think teenagers could bring to this process of reimagining space in a neighborhood?
I think one is almost just simply immediately what are the types of spaces that they would want to encounter and engage, which might be very different than the ones that I imagine. But I think an advantage of really looking at the city-owned vacant lots and the fact that there are more than 10,000 of them, there really can be, in my mind, this possibility that there could be 10,000 different collective spaces.
Is there something you wish someone would have told you when you were in high school thinking about this career?
The long hours spent in studio is something that I wasn't ready for, although really enjoy. But I think to me that really is the opportunity of architecture education, really looking to take advantage of the studio environment as a kind of collaborative environment and a model of learning that really is very distinct.
Who inspired you when you were younger?
In my school there was a drafting program, and I think we just had a very good drafting teacher. I am one of 5 that pursued architecture. And to me what's nice about architecture is we're all doing very different things.
David, I really enjoyed this conversation. It was so great to hear your perspective as both the artistic director of the biennial and an architecture professor about what these high school students might be experiencing in the next stages of their career and how excited we both are to see what they've come up with tonight. Which brings us to the next segment of this show. Right now we're going to watch a short video that has the voices of our high school students talking about what this virtual ACE Mentor experience was all about and some of their ideas of what makes a great neighborhood.
I would have to say my favorite thing about virtual ACE is being able to kind of use different programs.
It's just kind of like the year where I actively learn more, like using things like SketchUp.
Things like sharing your screen or going into breakout rooms. I think that's been my favorite part.
Sketching and using SketchUp and modeling.
It was super cool because you could go back and see all of your progress.
Miro really opened my eyes to how
group collaboration can conspire.
Just getting used to an environment that you would never normally be involved in. That was one of the big challenges for me, especially through Zoom.
The mentors, they were so great in involving us, even though we were online.
It's like I was talking to someone my age.
They gave the students like the environment that we needed to like be able to be comfortable so we can, get the job done.
I think what makes a good neighborhood is a place where you can walk around and be safe.
There are learning opportunities for kids, and there are like job opportunities for adults.
Hospitals, parks, schools, libraries.
You just gotta make sure there's transportation,
fresh produce, medical assistance, schooling,
grocery stores, health clinics, gardens, parks, schools.
And then being able to actually have friends, good friends, and recreation is very important. So like parks and being able to be outside.
We focused on a grocery store with apartments on top.
Something that would help out the neighborhood and benefit them in a way that would kind of like increase like the educational aspect.
A library we thought best suited the needs to incorporate like community interaction.
The health clinic was a main thing that they didn't have, that the community didn't have. I don't live too far from it, so I know.
There would need to be a safe haven space where everyone felt welcome. So we decided to build a community center that's mainly for students.
My team decided to design a job training facility. You can fix everything else and they can be food now, and you can get an education and you can do something with the arts. But if you can't have the people have jobs, then that'll all die off eventually.
Our main focus was incorporating more blue-collar jobs.
We focused on art and all art forms, and then we also focused on a kind of culinary, cooking-centric area as well.
We thought we could really change the relationship between architecture and spaces for the homeless. It's going to be like portable almost, and be able to have modules that can be taken apart and replicated in different places of the city, essentially.
ACE really pointed me towards the direction of architecture.
I'm hoping to become a structural engineer.
So architecture is my main focus, but it did broaden my my different opportunities, like such as engineering and construction. Now I know how those two work as well.
Initially, I was mainly just interested in electrical engineering, and since ACE, that has kind of switched to architecture and structural engineering.
I always wanted a bachelor's of science, but I'm actually very willing now that I know how much architects are involved with the design process and the construction and how tight they work with construction engineers and civil engineers to get the job done.
I knew I wanted to do engineering for sure, but ACE really introduced the idea of going into civil engineering for me.
I actually want to go through the construction trades route, possibly like carpentry or woodworking.
I do want to go into architecture overall. I thought long and hard.
I grew to just really love architecture, so that is what I'm choosing to study in the future. So yeah, incredibly monumental.
Wow, what a remarkable year. As a mentor, it's always so helpful to hear what our students have to think. And especially during virtual ACE, we're like, I don't know, are the students having fun? So thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us. Our students are brilliant and hilarious and the light of our weeks. I remember my niece sneaking into my room while I was mentoring, and she left saying, wow, mentoring is so much fun. They talk about Oreos and Arthur and Harry Potter. And I thought, we also 3D modeled and designed a building. Don't forget about that. But she was right. We connect with the students on so many levels. We work and we have fun at the same time. We check in on one another, and we collaborate side by side, professionals and students. As a mentor, I always think of how lucky I am to have all of these diverse experiences brainstorming and creating together. And I think that's why our final projects are so impressive. We heard what the students had to say about this virtual year. Now, let's hear from some mentors.
Switching to Zoom was pretty tough, actually.
Miro was a really good program for the students to kind of put their ideas on paper.
You can really see that even though we're all in different groups, a lot of those similar ideas are very kind of permeable.
A lot of the activities that we transition to a virtual setting might actually be better than some of the
in-person activities.
Breakout rooms and virtual settings and whiteboarding activities so that students could have as much of that experience as possible and really make them feel like they were part of a team and a group that was getting to know each other.
We took every session the first 15 minutes to just, sometimes we did an activity. So one time we played Pictionary, another time we spent like time trying to find something all 40 plus people on the call had in common.
We'd start a session and end a session with a fun question. So that was definitely something that got everyone engaged, and it was the end of the day and everyone was tired, but we all woke up once we started talking to each other.
One of the first activities that we did with the students was asking them to draw their neighborhood from memory.
They were able to see it so quickly because I think a lot of the students recognized what it took to make the neighborhood interesting or make a good neighborhood.
We saw our students really commit to sustainability this year.
Using solar power, having a rooftop garden.
Probably due to COVID, they really narrowed in on like family entertainment and study and lounge space.
The students in my group developed a mixed use space with grocery store on the bottom floor and then a multi-floor residential space above it. It was a place that I could see myself living potentially.
The students talked a lot about what we as designers do to improve the quality of life in the community and meet the needs of the people who actually call it home, rather than just designing something that fits on a site in an empty neighborhood.
I was in a similar program when I was in high school. It was a women in engineering program, and that was the spark that got me into engineering.
I had an idea that I wanted to be an architect, but I didn't really know how, or even had the resources or the people around me to teach me how to get it. I feel like if I could, have a little bit of an impact or help them a little bit to get closer to the things that they want to do, I'm kind of helping myself in the past.
I think this is a great way to kind of meet the next generation of architects and engineers and to get them excited about the profession.
I really enjoy exposing as many people as I can to the field of architecture.
I live for that excitement where they know, like, I want to do that and I like that and that's really cool and that's what I want to keep doing for the rest of the session, potentially my career.
I want to be that person that the kids see that, like, hey, if she can do it, like, maybe I can be an engineer as well.
Oh, I love everything about it. So I grew up myself, product of CPS, South Side of Chicago, and I had a lot of opportunities given to me. And for me, it's really important to give back.
Particularly in the ACE fields, we have a lack of representation of people of color, of women, and I think providing representation in terms of people who look like you and come from the areas that you come from that are actually working in these fields and being able to have access to them and learn from them is really important.
It's been a while since we've seen the building industry with completely fresh eyes. So to be able to have that perspective from the students, it's very refreshing.
To see these students and how passionate they are about this industry already, it just shows how much we have to look forward to in the future.
By being able to work one-on-one with students who are going to be taking my place in a relatively short amount of time, we're giving them the tools and handing them the keys to shape their own better world.
Patience, patience, and patience.
Be curious.
Don't be afraid to challenge yourself.
Keep in touch.
Keep seeking out programs like ACE Mentor.
Lean into the unknowns.
People genuinely want to help, and it is so hard. Particularly as a first generation student, I had no idea what I was doing. We will help you in any way we can.
It's okay to fail as long as you learn from it.
Ultimately, you'll get a job in this profession and somebody will pay you to spend your days drawing, and that's pretty cool.
Let's give a hand to our mentors. ACE is completely a team effort, and I cannot thank all of the mentors enough for being extra energetic behind the cameras, going with the flow, and brainstorming ways to keep virtual ACE fun. I asked our students if they need to keep their cameras on for school, and one student replied, "No, I only turn it on for ACE. Wow. Hashtag honored. We must be doing something right. Since ACE was virtual, we took a break from our teams and got to know mentors from all of the different firms. I remember Chris Ann sending out a request for mentors to teach Google SketchUp, and I turned to my co-lead and I said, should we relearn this program from 10 years ago and teach it? And we said yes. It turns out every mentor was rusty in that group, and so we each took a quarter of our brain and formed one whole brain and made a super cool curriculum for that week. It was so much fun. Just as we can't thank our mentors enough, we also want to give a huge shout out to our board members and sponsors, especially our community builder sponsors, Arup and Burns & McDonnell. Next, you will hear from Steve Nalewski, the Senior Vice President and General Manager of the Environmental Services Group of Burns & McDonnell. Steve has been on the ACE Executive Board for the past 10 years. He has worked in the environmental and engineering industry for over 35 years. Burns & McDonnell Engineering Company is 125 years old, 100% employee-owned engineering and construction firm with offices in over 50 locations around the world. Let's hear from Steve.
Thanks, Hiba. Good evening. This is always my favorite event of the year. I love seeing how thoughtful and creative the students are in their approach to the design problem. And of course, it's wonderful to see them receive the awards for their hard work. It's also incredibly inspiring to see how ACE was able to pivot and overcome the challenges this year in response to the pandemic. I love seeing how the students responded to the design challenge, creating community spaces from vacant lots. We couldn't do this without our mentors. Thank you for your dedication and commitment to the students and the program. I'm pleased to announce that we've met our fundraising goal for the year. It was obviously an incredible, challenging year, and we're grateful for the many companies who sponsor ACE and continue to do so year after year. The support of our sponsors means that tonight, we're able to award $140,000 in college scholarships for our students. Right now, we're going to break up into our Zoom meetings and watch the team's presentations and celebrate with some of the students as they win their scholarships.